Welcome to the grounds of Wittringen Castle in Gladbeck, Germany. This is the most popular launching field for gas balloons in Europe. More than 70% of all gas balloon launches in Europe take place here. It's the perfect backdrop for the 60th FAI Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett.
The FAI, the World Air Sports Federation, holds nearly 60 world championships a year.
This is also a world championship, and it's definitely a very special kind of world championship, as it's the longest-running race in aviation. For us, Gordon Bennett is a brand name similar to the Admiral's Cup in yachting. This is an extraordinary race, and that's why it has priority for the FAI. It's really original and shows the values aviation stands for: camaraderie, friendship, piloting skills, and a bit of adventure. For me, it's a success story like no other.
Das ist Freundschaft, das ist Pilotenfähigkeit und auch ein Schuss Abenteuer. Für mich ist es die Erfolgsstory schlechthin.
I'm fascinated by the combination of old technology and modern high-tech on board. This is really a captivating experience which hasn't changed for more than 100 years, as long as the Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett has existed. I'm really impressed. It's so nice to be here and to watch this race. Before the race begins, there's a briefing for all participants. The organizers explain the rules and give detailed information on the weather forecast and the open airspace. During the competition, there's a contact point for all teams, the command center, where Sabrina Handel works as the safety officer. The task of our command center is to collect all data, weather data, ATC, team data, and all data by the headquarters of the teams. We will also get the landing messages and will pass them on to the AIS and close the flight plans. So we're really responsible for everything. ATC means air traffic control. We communicate with the German air traffic control, but also with all air traffic controls abroad who call us. They coordinate the entire air traffic and coordinate our balloons in the airspace.
Die einfach wirklich den ganzen Flugverkehr und unsere Ballone im Luftraum koordinieren.
The 60th Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett also crowns the FAI World Long Distance Gas Balloon Champion. At the opening ceremony in Oberhausen, the pilots are presented to the audience. Aviation pioneer Brian Jones draws the bib numbers.
Well, I think the unique adventure in ballooning, and particularly in this form of gas ballooning where it becomes a race, is the unknown.
You know, we have 12 nations, 24 balloons, and more than 400 people attending the opening ceremony. Very nicely arranged here in Gladbeck, and yes, it will be a great event.
The balloons all have the same volume. They're filled up with 1,000 cubic meters of hydrogen, maybe 1,050 with a little tolerance. That's why they all start with the same lift.
Sie starten also alle mit dem gleichen Auftrieb.
The load-bearing capacity of the balloon is approximately 1.2 tons at sea level. Then we have the envelope and its weight. We have our equipment, the two pilots, and then we take 700 kilograms of sand as ballast. That's about 70 sandbags. If we want to climb 100 meters, we need to discharge 10 kilograms of sand. We won't throw the bags out as a whole for sure, but use this sand shovel here. And then we pour down the sand very slowly. If we arrive at the maximum altitude, the balloon is filled to the rim. If we travel below that height, we only need a little ballast to level out the altitude. Wilhelm Eimers, winner of the 2014 Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett, explains how to steer a balloon. Ballooning is impossible without physics and technology. There's this physical term, the Coriolis force, an inertial force caused by the rotation of the Earth. In different heights, this causes a small change of direction. We use this force to steer the balloon. It's the only way to steer it. Apart from that, we have to rely on the wind. All balloons travel with gas that is lighter than air. This can either be hot air or hydrogen. At this race, we used gas balloons with hydrogen as the carrying gas.
Looking back, the ballooning has a really important history in aviation. Many people just don't understand the history of ballooning and what that's brought. I mean, if you consider that ballooning was invented in 1783, that was 216 odd years before, before one got to fly around the world. And these days, of course, it's more of an adventure. It's probably one of the greatest adventures that one can still have, is to take on a challenge, a little like the Gordon Bennett, where you fly for days and nights, you get really tired, and you're constantly fighting to keep yourself safe. And when I say safe, I mean save your life, because it is life-threatening very often if you're in a balloon close to thunderstorms. And so the adventure is intense.
Seen historically at the races before World War II, the pilots didn't have radios or safety equipment, maybe only a life jacket made of cork. They traveled very far. Sometimes, I think, the more adventurous and dangerous a flight was, the bigger the heroes.
And you kind of look back at these sort of pioneers of ballooning and in wonderment, really. But the technology has changed insofar as, of course, the safety element is better. The hydrogen handling is better, the fabric is better, it doesn't leak quite as much as it did, but we'll see whenever the balloons take off, some of them are still the old-fashioned ones with the rope net around them, and that is exactly as it was back 100, 150 years ago.
Bob Bourbon is a legend in ballooning. The Belgian is the long-distance record holder.
We know each other very well. It's a small group of pilots, and we have respect for all of us, whatever it is, whatever place you have, because to do this, believe me, as an outsider, you have no idea what you have to do for this. It's a lot.
We want to defend our title for sure. We'll give everything. Our team is fantastic, and our chances are certainly good. It's really great how it's developed in the course of the previous years. We're happy that we're allowed to balloon on a world-class level, but with a mixed and passionate private team. Team Germany 1 with Wilhelm Eimers and Matthias Zenger explains what you need to take with you on a balloon flight. You have to be equipped for 35 degrees centigrade, but also for minus 10 degrees centigrade. All your gear should have no weight, which is obviously impossible. But to win the Gordon Bennett Cup is nearly impossible anyway. As I always say, may the best team win. In the previous year, Gerald Sturzlinger's Team Austria was not able to fly due to a technical defect. This year, they're shooting for the moon. I've got quite some experience. It's exciting what they said about the weather forecast, but only when we're in the air will we see whether or not it's difficult. Basically, it'll be difficult for us to plan a flight in a way that enables us to win the race. Our goal is to win, but safety is key. We'll take as few risks as possible to reach our goal. Arnulfo Gonzalez and Angel Aguirre from Spain are another interesting team.
This is our fifth time in the Gordon Bennett. We started fifth time in a row actually, because we started on the Gordon Bennett from Switzerland in 2012. We were basically rookies at that time, and we still feel a little bit rookie because the experience of these other pilots are really fast compared with us.
For me and for us, I think, as he said, as a rookies, from the beginning and from the preparation is exciting. Of course, the thinking on landing where we are going to finish, that in so long flight and so duration is the most challenging part, always.
Team Switzerland 2 leave nothing up to chance. Nicolas Teach and Laurent Skiboch are very confident this year.
Our main objective maybe is to be, this year we are Switzerland 2, and we will be maybe for the next year at least Switzerland 1.
I don't like too much this pre-flight
these last hours pre-fight. I prefer to be in there as soon as possible.
Robertas Komsha and his son Laurynas come from Lithuania and are new to the Coupe Aeronautique Gordon Bennett.
For us, everything will be challenging. For the first time, everything will be for the first time. So every step will be challenging. So it means that we are keen on planning, on changing our strategies, on getting something, on asking others what they think about it. So I think that will be the main job, to get as many opinions as possible. There is no comparison with other events. So it means that we take it as it is, just like that.
The experienced couple of Dr. Heinz Otto and Marianne Lausch has taken part in the Coupe Aeronautique Gordon Bennett many times. These are the last real adventures. A race director from Germany told me that the gas balloonists are the last heroes of aviation. Who dares to stay in the air for 60 or maybe 80 hours? Last year we had to land on short notice at night because of a thunderstorm that approached over the English Channel. Safety is a top priority for all teams, including Kurt Frieden and Pascal Wittprächtiger from Switzerland. Safety is very important for us, always a top priority for sure. You can risk a lot, but you should always be reasonable. That's the strategy we follow.
We have a big checklist of equipment to take, and some of it's mandatory. And some of it we think, shall we or shan't we, but you need the equipment. It gives you confidence to go over, perhaps where you wouldn't go normally. If you have a life raft, you have immersion suits, then you'll perhaps push it a little bit harder.
Yeah. Well, it gives you more confidence. When you make a plan, you need to be committed and taking all the safety equipment. 1,280.
Other teams mainly think of the weather when it comes to safety.
Number one for safety for us is flight without the thunderstorms, because when we flew inside the thunderstorms and close with thunderstorms, it's really, really bad for us.
In my idea, if you fly towards a thunderstorm or in a thunderstorm, you're dead. So that's why it's important.
It's a no-brainer. You shouldn't come anywhere near thunderstorm. Make sure you're
especially
on the ground.
With 1,000 cubic liters of hydrogen above your head. It's not a good idea.
At the command center, Sabrina Handel is in charge of safety.
Vorgegeben in den Regeln ist
each balloon has to carry its standard equipment, including a GPS device, altimeter, radios, and transponder.
Funkgeräte, Transponder und dann natürlich
teams who plan to fly over water or who want to cross a lake or the sea need life rafts or survival suits. We follow our safety checklist and check if they all have the complete equipment. We also take note of the color of their life rafts or survival suits. This will be included in the flight plan that our ATC issues. If there is an emergency, rescuers will know what to look for.
Dass sie wissen, wonach sie suchen müssen.
This is a unique system in gas balloons because what we have here is a tube that when the balloon is ready for deflation, the tube is exposed, and then when you come to land, you pull this line and the tube is opening. This area is critical because if it doesn't open, you don't stop.
The chinnery rip, putting the rip panel together, is the crucial piece to keep us alive when we're in the air. And when we take off, we always think of that small thread.
Michael Knoll, meteorologist at the command center, tells us everything about the weather forecast. There's a special weather phenomenon called the Mistral. The Mistral channels the wind at the Rhone Valley. We expect wind speeds of 35 to 40 knots in the lower layers. This will give the balloons a rocket-like push. With the help of Mistral winds, they could maybe cover the distance to mainland Italy or even Sicily.
Dann auf einmal eine weite Strecke bis vielleicht Italien oder Sizilien zurücklegen können.
We'll soon start the 60th Coupe Aéronautique Gordon Bennett, the oldest race in aviation. The winner will be crowned world champion in long-distance gas ballooning. It's all about covering the longest distance non-stop. It can last up to 3 or even 4 days and means 2,000 or even 2,500 kilometers of flight over Europe. The Night Glow event is an absolute highlight for spectators and contestants alike. Some hot air balloonists have come to Gladbeck to illuminate their balloons in time with the music. The pilots check the maps once again and make the last preparations before the start. The parade of the balloons is a very impressive sight. When the safety check is complete, the pilots only get the clearance to start if they can show their safety lights. At midnight, Heinz Otto and Marian Lausch are the first to launch. During the launch, the national hymns of the respective teams are played. 5,000 spectators wave farewell to the pilots as they begin their journey into the unknown. The first highlight is the Ruhr at night. An exciting sea of light with many illuminated industrial plants.
Clive and I have just woken up. One of us. Overhead Aachen at the moment and heading sort of southwest.
Zwei Ballone sind heute in die Früh gelandet.
2 balloons were forced to land early this morning because they were approaching restricted airspace. The Australians have already planned to land early, perhaps this evening, as they are the rookies in the field and have little flying experience. When the balloons launched yesterday, we expected the first ones to land in the area around Geneva tonight if they want to. And as you can see, most of the pilots came from the north, over the Swiss Jura Mountains to this valley, which then leads to Geneva and the Rhone Valley.
In dieses Tal, was dann anschließend Richtung Genf und Rhonetal führt.
Today, the pilots must decide if they'll dare to fly over the Mediterranean. That's always a little risky, as you can't land anywhere. That's the reason why some of them may land tonight for safety reasons. As soon as they enter the Rhone Valley, they're exposed to the Mistral winds. Then it's very difficult to land due to the high wind speeds.
Dann kann man nur noch sehr schwer landen aufgrund der hohen Windgeschwindigkeit.
Tomorrow's weather forecast for the Mediterranean Ocean isn't critical. There may be some towering cumulus clouds or a rain shower, but nothing like a storm or a pressure system that could become dangerous. It's only dangerous if thunderstorms are massive.
Wenn Gewitter dann massiv und linienartig auftreten.
Second cup of tea. Ching Chang. I'll show you the view.
We're getting down a bit of left on the ground.
I think we're going that way now.
Team Great Britain 2 with Clive Bailey and John Rose have the most spectacular landing by far.
It wasn't too bad though. Put it there, mate. We're alive, that's all that counts. And it was a bloody fantastic flight.
It was.
Es geht in die zweite Nacht. Wir hatten
The second night has begun. 10 balloons landed during the day. They're all safe and sound, which is fine. The current situation is that the teams follow two different strategies. One strategy is to fly over Lake Geneva to reach the Mistral. The other strategy is to fly very high above the Mont Blanc Massif. Here's Mont Blanc, and here are the teams. The teams are 5,000 meters above sea level. This means minus 15 degrees Celsius. In the long run, it's really very extreme and very, very exhausting. The teams who decided to take the route above Mont Blanc put themselves and their equipment to the test, but on the other hand, they are rewarded with a wonderful view. If the teams enter the Rhone Valley and are caught by the Mistral, there's no turning back. They will fly over the ocean to Sardinia, mainland Italy, and even Sicily, as some did 2 years ago.
Oder sogar Sizilien, was wir schon ja vor 2 Jahren hatten.
The next day dawns for the remaining teams.
Yeah, good morning. Second morning now. Looking forward to the sunrise. It's 48 degrees right now.
Some of the teams are still trying to reach the Mistral stream, while Switzerland 1, Switzerland 2, and Spain 1 are in the lead. The 3 leading balloons have constantly been more than 4,000 meters above sea level for the last 24 hours. That's really exhausting considering temperatures of minus 10 degrees centigrade. I wouldn't want to trade places with them. On the other hand, I would like to have seen the beautiful view over the Mont Blanc at nearly full moon. It must have been very impressive. No one's likely to see that again soon. Good afternoon. A last statement while we're still in the air. It's 4 p.m. We have to call headquarters now, and we've made a decision. We will not try to fly across the Mediterranean anymore. We already know that we will not win the race this time. For the past 13 years, Wilhelm Eimer's youngest son, Benjamin, has advised his father from headquarters. There he is on the satellite phone. We're fine. We're a bit disappointed for sure. Normally we fight for victory, but today safety is more important. It's my 26th race. 25 years in this business are enough. I'm too old for it. Younger people should take over now. For me, Gordon Bennett is over. I don't want to count out a flight by Eimers and Eimers one day, but for now, I'll take a break. Okay, over and out.
Jo, tschüss.
Over and out. See you later.
Bis später. Ciao.
After 663 kilometers, Wilhelm Eimers and Matthias Singer land safely near Savigny, France. Some of the other teams still carry on, though.
Mittlerweile sind einige Landemeldungen eingetroffen.
Most of the teams have landed by now. Currently, only Switzerland 1, Switzerland 2, and Spain 1 are still in the air. Kurt and Pascal just sent a text message to Sabrina and told her their intention for the coming night. They'll call again at 10 p.m. and then decide whether they'll fly on to Greece. Michael, our weather expert at the command center, has told me it's possible to reach the mainland of Greece tomorrow morning, as they're carrying a lot of speed.
Relativ hoher Geschwindigkeit bis morgen früh bereits Festland in Griechenland zu erreichen.
The Spanish team is currently in the lead, though it has just landed. They're 20 kilometers ahead of the second team, but we think that Switzerland 1 will fly on to Corfu. After 1,803 kilometers in distance and 58 hours in the air, Pascal Wittprächtiger and Kurt Frieden land near Stavros, Greece. This is Stefan Handel at the command center. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Kurt here. Hello, Kurt. Congratulations. You've won. Did you hear me? Are you okay? We're all fine. We've had a wonderful journey. We continued to fly over land a bit because it was so beautiful this morning. At the final ceremony at Gladbach Town Hall, all teams are together again. They share stories about their adventures and celebrate the winners with a formal dinner. What a finish this was. Team Spain 1 got third, while Team Switzerland 1 defeated Switzerland 2 for the second time consecutively. We really enjoyed flying above the ocean. We already knew we'd have a great landing and become world champions. That's a fantastic feeling. Now, after winning 2 times in a row, everyone expects us to win a 3rd time. We could keep the cup if we win 3 times in a row. So that's the challenge for us now.
Halten und klar, das ist natürlich jetzt eine Herausforderung, ja.
So last year we were at the 3rd position, 3rd step. So this year we were at the 2nd step. So we will see what happens next year in Switzerland.
Landing in 3rd position is something really a miracle for us. I mean, it's really a dream come true.
And here are the results. And that's it from the 60th Coupe Aeronautique Gordon Bennett. The 61st edition will be held in Freiburg, Switzerland next year. See you then.